According to the IRS, required minimum distributions kick in at age 73 for those born before 1960. But for pension holders, that's often too late to avoid a major tax surprise. The reality is, the years between retirement and RMDs are your only real opportunity to lower your tax burden, and most retirees don't even realize this window exists. In today's video, I'll show you why delaying your Roth conversions could cost you more than you think, especially if you have a pension. As a CPA and retirement planner working with clients for over 25 years, I've seen how proper timing can mean the difference between smooth sailing and unnecessarily higher tax costs in retirement. That's why in this video, I'm going to walk you through why pensions complicate Roth conversions more than most realize, what you need to watch out for in your early 60s, and most importantly, how to identify your personal Roth window before it closes. So stay tuned for that later in the video. Let's get straight into it. Let's begin with the crux of the issue. For pension holders, the real risk isn't running out of money, it's running into avoidable taxes. Most people think that Roth conversions can wait. But here's the problem. Once your pension, Social Security, and required minimum distributions start at the same time, your taxable income spikes. And that spike can cost you tens of thousands of dollars, potentially over your entire retirement. Imagine you retire at age 62 and have saved a lot of money into your traditional retirement plan. That's smart. But then you choose to delay Roth conversions, thinking it'll be easier to do it later. Fast forward to age 65, your pension payments begin, and by age 73, RMDs kick in. Suddenly, what was once a flexible plan becomes a rigid tax trap, all because your income sources stacked up. Here's how this income stacking works. Your pension counts as ordinary taxable income. Social Security gets taxed based on your combined income. And RMDs from your retirement accounts, also taxed at ordinary income rates. Stack them together and you could easily move from a 12% tax bracket to a 22%, 24%, or even 32% bracket, plus IRMA surcharges on Medicare if you're over a certain threshold. This stacking effect isn't theoretical, it's happening to real people. I've seen clients who were perfectly fine during their early retirement years bump up to nearly $50,000 more in taxes after their pension and RMDs kicked in. That's not a small dent, it's a gaping hole in their retirement plan. That's why we offer a free one-on-one call where you can speak directly with one of our retirement advisors. It's a chance to ask your questions, walk through your numbers, and get clarity on how these rules apply to your specific situation. Click the link below to book your call. We've set aside time specifically for people looking to avoid these common tax traps. So why do so many pension holders get caught in this trap? Why doesn't everyone see it coming? Let's uncover that. The reason is simple. Conventional Roth advice doesn't apply to pension holders. Most tax and retirement planning guides talk about converting when your tax rate is low or when the market is down, but they fail to explain how that advice shifts when a guaranteed pension enters the mix. Financial bloggers and planning tools often assume people will spread out RMDs evenly, but pensions change those assumptions. Pensions create a fixed income stream that starts on a date you choose, or that's dictated by your plan. That stream drives up your taxable income, even if RMDs haven't begun. And by the time the RMD kicks in, your tax flexibility is gone. This disconnect means that traditional advice isn't just unhelpful, it's dangerous for pension holders. You're being guided toward a trap with no warning that the foundation shifted underneath you. Let's break down the mechanics in more detail. First up, required minimum distributions, or RMDs. The IRS requires account holders to withdraw a minimum percentage of their IRA or 401k assets starting at age 73. That's non-negotiable. Next, Social Security taxation. If your provisional income, that is your adjusted gross income, plus half of your Social Security and any tax-exempt interest crosses a threshold, as much as 85% of your Social Security benefits become taxable. Then there's IRMA, the income-related monthly adjustment amount. If your income in a year crosses certain limits, Medicare Part B and Medicare Part D premiums can increase significantly, sometimes by hundreds of dollars per month. Finally, we have pension income, fixed, scheduled, and guaranteed. Unlike distributions, you often can't choose when you receive your pension, and you can't control how much tax you pay. That income is simply added to your total taxable income. When you layer these together, pension, RMDs, Social Security, IRMA, the result is steep and unavoidable rise in your taxable income. And that's what leads to higher marginal brackets and more cost. The key issue is timing. You need to convert to a Roth while your income is still low, before pensions start, before Social Security begins, and before RMDs. Once all three are in motion, your taxable income is high, and every dollar you convert is taxed at a higher rate. Here's the problem. Once the ball starts rolling, it's hard to stop. Your income has become fixed thanks to your pension. You can't easily shift those dollars around anymore. And if you wait until you're 70 or 72, most of your planning options will have disappeared. This isn't just logical, it's emotional. People feel safe waiting because they see their accounts and they think they're still in control. But when the tax bill arrives, that comfort turns into shock, stress, and regret. Let me show you an example. Jane and Bob both retire at age 62. Jane starts small Roth conversions right away. Bob decides to wait until after he turns 70. By the time both hit age 75, Jane has converted $200,000 at average rates between 10 and 15%. Bob, on the other hand, converted the same $200,000 but paid an average of a 25% tax rate because his pension and RMDs had already begun. Over those 13 years, Jane paid about $27,000 in Roth conversion taxes. Bob paid nearly $50,000. That's a spread of $23,000 on the exact same amount of conversions. Plus, Bob gets hit with Medicare IRMA. That's a surcharge once his modified income crosses the threshold. That adds another $3,500 in annual premiums. Cost Jane avoids because her income stays lower for longer. So with the same resources in this simple example, Bob ends up paying a lot more than Jane just because he waited to convert on a relatively small conversion amount. By now, you probably get why waiting until 70 can be a massive mistake. But here's the better question. What should you do instead? Do you convert everything immediately? No. Do you ignore your pension and hope for future RMDs? Absolutely not. There's a smarter, more controlled plan. The answer lies in acting during the window between retirement and your RMD start. But to do that effectively, you need a method, something to guide your timing. That's what we're going to cover next. The core idea is simple. When your taxable income is temporarily lower, that's your Roth window. For most pension holders, that means the gap between when you stop working and when your RMDs begin at age 73. You have one short window, early retirement. With your income low, since neither pension nor RMDs have begun, you can convert without pushing yourself into a higher tax bracket. But it won't last forever. Pension enters the picture, Social Security starts, and by age 73, RMDs are mandatory. So this window typically covers 5 to 10 years, assuming your pension begins around 65 and RMDs at 73. That's your opportunity to act. I call this approach the Roth conversion window framework because it focuses on that specific timeline. The framework shifts your perspective from when to convert to how much to convert over a defined chronology. It's practical and precise, but here's the catch. This framework only works if it's executed properly. Mapping your income trajectory across a decade, estimating marginal tax brackets, adjusting for IRMA thresholds, and timing conversions just right. It's a level of complexity that's nearly impossible to calculate on paper or in your head. That's why we rely on advanced tax planning software designed to simulate dozens of income paths, bracket scenarios, and Medicare premiums over time. And more importantly, it takes someone who knows how to read and interpret that output because the software gives you options and not answers. Getting this right means working with someone who knows how to model those trade-offs in real human terms. Here's the basic premise. Step 1. Map your income timeline. Create a projected annual income chart from age 62 to 75, including pension start, Social Security, and RMD dates. Step 2. Estimate your current marginal tax bracket in each of those years. Use the IRS tables to see where your income will place you. Make notes of years with lower rates. Those are target conversion years. Step 3. Determine your conversion amount. The goal is to convert enough to take advantage of the brackets without pushing yourself into a significantly higher one. Step 4. Adjust for IRMA thresholds. If a bracket bump also triggers a Medicare premium jump, you may want to stay just below that line. Step 5, implement it. Use your annual conversion allocation. If your Roth IRA has a 5-year rule on withdrawals, plan accordingly. This method works because it gives you control at the moment it matters most. Instead of reacting to tax brackets after the fact, you proactively step in when your income is still low. It's also about avoiding compounding mistakes. You avoid unnecessarily high tax brackets and prevent Medicare premium increases. You manage your tax regardless of market or economic volatility. Remember Bob from our earlier example? He just followed this process and converted strategically, limiting his rate increases and avoiding those IRMA surcharges. Let's look at the numbers. With a 10-year conversion plan, converting $300,000 over time, you pay around 12% average, about $36,000 in tax. Push those conversions into RMD years and your rate jumps to 25%. You'd be paying $75,000 in tax, a $39,000 difference. Plus, you've avoided extra Medicare premiums, meaning you keep that money working for you rather than it disappearing in taxes and healthcare costs. Beyond dollars, this method gives retirees clarity. You gain a model where taxes are planned instead of reactive. You know your end game, and you reduce cognitive and emotional stress. That's how strategic Roth timing works for pension holders. If you're ready to control your tax future, the years between retirement and your RMDs are when to do it. The goal isn't to convert everything, it's to convert smart. Waiting until your 70s might feel safer, but for pension holders, that's often the most expensive mistake you can make. By using the years between retirement and your RMD start date, you can take control of your tax future instead of letting the IRS do it for you. That's why we created the Retirement Readiness Check. It's a free consultation where you can speak with one of our advisors. Walk through your key retirement questions and better understand how timing impacts your taxes. Click the first link in the description to book your call and start making more confident decisions about your retirement plan. And remember, retirement isn't just about how much you've saved, it's about how precisely you time what you do with it.